Guys, Delulu Laguna, YouTube's N'Golo Kante. It's been an eventful Premier League week. Arsenal grinded out a result against Burnley. City came from behind. United taking care of business. Spurs dropped points. Chelsea dropped points. And Liverpool dropped points. Obviously, Liverpool and Chelsea played each other, and that's not a bad point. So, yeah, tale of two halves that game. But whether you support City at the top or whoever's at the bottom, it's been an eventful week for regardless of reasons. Regardless, for several reasons, better yet. So, let's crack on. At the risk of sounding biased, I'm going with check and goal. And I'm going with check and goals because, yes, the headlines will get written that we broke down Burnley. They remain resolute, but we managed to pattern up in the second half and do these things. And that's the stuff of champions. We know we're 11 points or even more off City, so that's a myth. But these are headlines you're getting. I'm going with them headlines can't get written if it weren't for Czech, because Czech made so many saves in that game. So many saves. Like I said in the post-match of that game, if he didn't make some of these saves, that penalty we got in the 90th minute could have been just a consolation package that we scored. It could have been a goal to get us back in the game at 1-1, but it wasn't. It was to win and take 3 points. And, of course, he didn't score it at the end of the day, and he's not an outfield player, but he was central to that. I know a lot of people get onto him, and they made a running joke of when Terry said he would save us points. And he has saved us points. When you see games like this, he has saved us points. We could have dropped 2 points. We could have dropped 3 points. And there's been several like this. We know Czech, we need to replace Czech. We know Czech is getting stale. We know he's getting over the line in terms of being footballer keeper for a top club. But he put in his shift today, and games like this, credit where it's due. So enough of gassing Czech. Czech in goal. Right back, Azpilicueta Dave. He was playing that central defence, but he was amazing against Liverpool. He was always about, he was doing his thing, man. The less said, the better. Dave, Mr. Consistent, Azpilicueta, there. I was going to go with Koscielny, but I don't want to make it all Arsenal. Joe Gomez, I think Joe Gomez had a decent game against Chelsea, bar that shaky mistake. I think he headed it back, and then he dealt with his mistake. But again, he's going from strength to strength, and he has a very good chance of making the World Cup if he doesn't get any injuries, if he keeps playing with the confidence, and ultimately if Klopp keeps playing him and he keeps remaining consistent. So Joe Gomez in there. So next to him, I'm going to go with Mustafi. Now, I've changed my mind on Mustafi so many times. I was ecstatic when we signed him, and I still was to a degree. But then he was moving a bit shaky, saying he wanted to leave. I could see the angle for these rumours, and maybe we should let him leave. But he's now had 2 great performances on the trot. He's finally recognising I can't get tight to players. He's putting in performances. He was our best player, bar the man behind him in Czech, and you could say Alexis. But yeah, Mustafi Deya. I was going to go with Ashley Young. I felt Ashley Young played very well for United, to be honest with you. And he had a hand in their goal. But I'm going with, I cannot say his name. I think it's Zeligla, the left back of Watford. I believe he had a great game. He was bombing down the left-hand side. The right back and right winger couldn't cope with him. He was doing his thing. So he just edges it. So to recap, the back 5, Czech in goal, Azpilicueta on the right back position, left back of Zeligla, I can't say that name, central defence of Mustafi and Joe Gomez. Let's talk about in midfield. Now, I was going to go with David Silva. I felt he had a decent game. It was annoying me when the commentators were saying stuff. He had a decent game. I don't want to say great and gas it, but he had a very decent game. And if he was, I can understand if you're saying it wasn't the typical David Silva performance that we've seen of old and things, but he was still effective. So I could have said him, but I'm going with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I felt he had a decent game. Ultimately, he scored and made the difference for Palace, so he's going to go there. His England, well, I don't know if they have played together for under 21s, right? Will Hughes of Watford, he continues same week, scoring again. Outside chance of going to the World Cup if he continues this. I mean, he's probably the closest thing to Wilshere, excluding Winks and these other guys, in terms of playing a football forward. He's a very technical-based footballer. I've actually watched a lot of him, and I'm surprised he hasn't made the Premier League move sooner. In fact, I know why he hasn't, because he's had these injuries. But it's nice to see him playing, finally getting in the Watford side, retaining his place because he had a good shift in last week, and he done the same thing. So he's got to go there. In the 10 role, for the first half, he dropped off in the second half against Liverpool, but I'm going to go with Hazard. I believe the first half, especially, Hazard was doing things, like he was doing that mercurial stuff from Hazard. People might think I'm gassing it, but Eden Hazard edges it. Right wing is 4-3-3 in case you haven't guessed. Right wing, I'm going to Alexis Sanchez. Ultimately, he kept his bottle to score the goal in the 90th minute. His finishing could have been a bit better, but I believe he was one of our best players on the pitch. He was one of the players that looked like he was going to cause something. He was at the thick of it, linking up and all of these things. So him at right wing. Through the middle, I'm going with a different twist. I'm going with Charlie Austin. Austin of Southampton has been in and out of the Southampton side, scored 2 goals, two very convincing finishes, and that's going to do his confidence the world of good, and he might retain his space. So I'm going with Austin there, man. Left wing. Why do I keep saying defensive stuff? Left wing. I was going to go with Richarlison, but Raheem Sterling. He made the difference for City. His movement was amazing. He earned a penalty. Ultimately scored the winner. Yes, there was a bit of good fortune, but when you put in a decent performance like that, especially in the second half, you get away, you get lucky, and then you get away with certain things. So he's got to be there. So to recap, checking goal, Azpilicueta at right back, Zaligla at left back. I don't understand how I can say Azpilicueta but none of these other names. Zaligla at left back, Mustafi and Gomez at central defence together. Checking goal in case I ain't said him already. Hughes and Ruben Loftus-Cheek together in the midfield. Hazard in the 10 role. Right wing Alexis Sanchez, on the left Raheem Sterling, through the middle Austin of Southampton who bagged 2 goals. Special shout outs have to go out to Zaha, Shaqiri, Harry Kane for obviously getting a point for his side. Cesc because he came off the bench and he made a difference. Willian for that very same reason. Did Pedro come off the bench? You could say him too, because all them substitutions for Chelsea was spot on. There were a couple players that could have been him. And Sigurdsson's team got ripped, but he was definitely one of the better players on that Everton pitch. He's not quite good enough to be in this, but yeah, there was a couple performances. Because Cola could have been here. So yeah, man, there were a couple good performances. But I'm waffling. Guys, Deluded Gooner, I'm signing out. Enjoy what's left of your evening. Team of the week.